Welcome to part two. I'm Porky Russ. I've just been told Frotch has. I'm joined by Ryan. I'm Porky Russ. We're on part two. Ryan, I've just been told off Sparkling John from Welcome Estates has just texted me and he said, and I quote, just watching Frotch on fighting and he's been asked who is Eddie Hills and he said, listen, Porky Russ knows who Eddie Hills. So, Frotch, Cobra. Cheers for the shout out on your channel, but I'm still offended that I ain't had a slot on your channel. So I'm gonna keep digging you out, old big nose. Right, until I get but till you have me on. I'm a twat, aren't I, Ryan?
Yes, mate.
But he's got Joe Gallagher on there. I ain't watched it yet, but Joe looking well in picture with shirt and jacket on. Go on, Joe. I
Go
like
on, Joe.
Joe. I've got
Yeah,
a soft spot for Joey. Do you know why I like Joe Gallagher so much? We didn't get on at first. I'm not going to go on about what happened, but we didn't get on at first. But he stood up to Eddie Hills, right? And Eddie were dismantling his gym one by one. They were all leaving because he was putting word out. If you're with Joe, there's no slots on Sky. And I thought it was quite awful, that, you
man.
know. And do you know what? It must have been horrible for Joe, you know, that. But do you know what? He rid the storm out, and I've got no more respect for that man.
Yeah, he lives it, doesn't he?
Well,
He
you
lives
know,
it.
it's there 7 a.m. till midnight.
Mm, yeah, he's proper.
This must be in bits. I know he's a good family man and all that, and his kids have done really well at uni, and he's set up for life and that. But listen, the geezer goes to work. Do you know what I mean? He's walking around in one of them big long, when it's cold weather. He walks around, them like. You remember
Trench
Man
coat or
United
something.
where substitutes used to warm up on bench, Arthur Albiston and all them, back in the day. The way
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Mark Hughes, what's that? Who's that? Oh, that guy who saved Fergie's job.
Mark Robbins.
Mark Robbins won it against Notts Forest in Cup.
Yeah.
You remember it? Well, they
I'm
used to
too
be a
young,
sub.
but
Mark
yeah, I
Robbins
do
was a
know it.
sub. They warm up at Old Trafford, weren't they? One of them like right long coats, weren't they?
Yeah.
Joe G bowls around in one of them. He drives a Porsche four-wheel drive with a big dint inside of it. And I'm like, Joe, why don't you go get that dint sorted? Because if that were me, I couldn't drive that. Joe went, well, it's a car in it. And it's parked on Path in Moss Side
I
outside
was just
gym.
about to say that.
You seen it outside gym on
Mm,
Path?
yeah.
Not bothered about getting a ticket or out. I'm thinking, wow, we've got a big, massive dent inside a private plate Porsche. And he's not bothered, but he ain't got time, has he, to go get it done? Because I think Porsche's near where that air thing is, as you go over at flyover. What do they
Yeah.
call it now? That there's like a big where you fly up in air, don't you, or something?
Let me
You
have
know,
a look.
help me out here. You're a Manchester lad, aren't you?
Yeah, it's near where I live. It's near Trafford Centre.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's up there, isn't it? We ain't got
Barton Bridge.
ticket. But he is a grafter, and I've got no. Eddie Hills, he's a grafter as well. I always respect people that put the time in, grafting.
Yeah.
If you're not a grafter, I always, because I'm very critical about a lot of things, me. But you put graft in, because my old man were a grafter. I've got time, and Joe G, I'll see you at gym at 7:30, Porky. He's there first. Do you know what I mean?
He'll
He's
leave
dead
last as
on.
well, no doubt.
Listen, mate, and them kids in that gym, the mollycoddle, but they have to train hard. But listen, he's got the back. That Jack Massey, all of them. You ask any of them, Mark Efron, I know he's not there now, isn't he? Marcus Morrison, he's his right hand man. He's going to do all right in Marcus Morrison.
Good footballer, him.
Hey, listen. Somebody else who my mate knows told me a little story about him. He could have gone to Man City
He
or
played for
Everton.
City. He
Hey,
played. He was at
he
City
played
for a
for
few
City
years.
in like under 18s or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was fucking. You know what, mate? I seen him in town actually the other week. I was watching an Only Fools and Horses play, ironically, and I seen him over the road. He's fucking. I can't believe how big he is, Morrison. I thought he was
He's
only
a nice
small,
kid,
but
him, you know. He's a real. You know what? He's one at night. Do you know him and Jose Burton? They're probably one of some of the nicest kids I've ever met in boxing. And both from Joe's gym, you know. Real, there's no divas in there. Honestly, it's a real. People think, oh, Moss Side boxing gym. Well, not going there. You'll get your fucking throat slit.
no, it's not
I'm
like
telling
that
you
at
now,
all.
mate. One of really nice. He's lovely, him, Jose Burton. But Marcus Morrison's a lovely kid, man. Honestly, he's a great nice kid, great family man, out lot, mate. Honestly, he'll do all right. Him
I hope so, mate.
as a
I
trainer,
hope so.
good.
I hope
Uh,
so. You all deserve
uh,
it.
the referee in the Adelaide fight, obviously, he's not going to come out and do an interview on that. But Jug Ears is saying that it should be a no contest. I agree.
Yeah, I do.
I agree. Jug Ears is also, well, he's saying a lot. He's there every day in his Jug Ears because he's got no else
Mm.
in his life, has he? He's saying Joe Joyce should retire and he's 40 in September, Joyce. But Derek Chisora's 42 around about the same time. But he's not saying that about Derek, is he?
No, because he knows that Derek could get hold of him by his ears and give him a slap. That's probably why I say. I still think there's, Joyce is just coming into his prime now, and I think we'll start to see, more from Joe Joyce over the next couple of years. I really see him coming into his own. His head movement looked a little bit better the other night. He's better on his feet. I really see good things coming from Joe Joyce.
Yeah.
Do a fuck. He's fucking wank. He is absolutely wank, mate. How is he main eventing at the Co-op Arena in Manchester? Do you mind answering that for me, please, mate? Because he's fucking shit.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Ryan, right? Do you know when I look at Joe Joyce, right, all I see is a big dummy. He's like the mummy, big old stiff. He's like that. He can't even string a sentence together, right?
No.
And he's not 40 while September. He needs to hang them gloves up, right? He needs to piss off out the sport like Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Dylan White, Derek Chisora, all a lot of them jog on and let the new brigade come through because we're sick of you lot hanging around like bad smells. They're like shit. You know when you get shit, when your cat or your dog shits in your house, you got to get rid of it. You know why? Because it leaves fucking stains.
Yeah, bang on, mate. Kick the
It's
cunt
true, isn't
out.
it, mate? It's true, isn't it?
Fucking is, mate. Yeah, it
You know what I
is.
mean? You got to get rid of it. No, listen, you know what? I'm losing fucking will to live with boxing at the moment. I'm thinking, do you know what? Why don't I just say what I really, really want to say and
Go
just
on.
fuck me at all? Because do you know what? Nobody gives a shit about any in boxing. It's all fake friendships and fake this and fucking load of fake shit.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody's out for themselves. Nobody cares about anybody. 95% of them don't care for nobody, mate. I look at people like Chris Smedley, who never took a penny under the table or backdoored anybody. He's his own man, self-employed Tyler, and he's got his own gym that he owns, right? So he
Mm.
don't need nobody can tell him what to do, Chris. So he's his own man. Look at people like that, and I think, do you know what? They're the unsung heroes. People like Terry Chappendama, who never took a penny from Fitzroy Lodge, who train kids for free, amateur. They put the time in. Fair enough, Terry don't need the dough. He's a banker, and he's done well. He's an educated kid. They're your heroes in boxing. You had your lambs and stuff like that. All
Mm.
these others who get into boxing, training fighters, right? Because there's a few quid involved in it. They're not heroes to me. They're just takers, mate.
Yeah.
Takers. That's how I look at it.
No,
The
I agree.
people who learn the craft as amateur trainers who come through the ranks, they're the people I respect. I don't respect these who just ponce a living. No, fuck. No. Uh,
Agreed.
Eddie and Frank look like they're united. I keep seeing them doing interviews and this and that and George and Warren and Eddie are pals, and Frank Smith and Eddie are pals. Oh, they must really be worried about Turkey and Dana White. What do you think, Ryan?
Those two are not going to be interested in Britain. Turkey, Ali Sheikh, and Dana White, and I don't think I just can't say. I think that they're going to try and focus on America primarily. I don't really think they'll touch the UK, but I think you'll see Eddie over here on shows a lot more and trying to do a lot more for British. But that's the only positive I can take from it. This might help British boxing again. Because when Eddie was over here and he was, trying to rid Frank out of the game, Eddie's stable had, a lorry load of world champions. He had a lot of world champions consistently, all British world champions. That's been lost, as is evident by only having two current. That's been lost the last few years whilst he's been trying to make a splash in America. He's got no British world champions. So hopefully, with Dana White and Turkey Ali Sheikh, again, in my opinion, will probably take a lot of the PBC guys. I think maybe that might help British boxing. So I don't see it as a negative at all, mate.
No.
No, I might again. We could, it's all it's all hypothetical in it at the moment. Quite frankly, none of us know which direction it's going to take. But I can't really see them, looking to. Why would one of them want to come from America to promote shows over there in Liverpool or London or Manchester? They can do it there where they are. They don't need to come over here, and they'll probably just turn around and say, "Yeah, used to fuck off, stay over there." Done. That's what I'm hoping for, anyway, mate.
Well, we'll see, won't we? What do you think about that fat mess?
Which
Jarrell
one?
Miller, four-time drug cheated four times, but eight different substances in his body that could only be administered through injection. Fighting Fabio Wardley at Portman Road. Do you think that happens?
Yeah, yeah, I do think it happens. I mean, I just don't see how anyone can take Miller serious. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, he can do a little bit. He can't punch. Obviously, if he knocked me spark unconscious, he's £300. But he can't punch for a man who's £300. He cannot punch. He didn't put any dent in Daniel Dubois, who was stopped by a jab twice by Joe Joyce and Alexander Usyk. Jarrell Miller cracked him over and over and over and over and didn't put a dent in him. Wardley should spark him, should flatline him because he's a fat, mouthy, slobby cunt. I can't fucking stand him. Drug cheat, first and foremost, and he talks like he's like this fucking, bad man. I watched him about 10 years ago get battered by Mirko Krokop, and Mirko Krokop was old then and had been flatlined several times in the UFC. And Jarrell Miller got his ass handed to him in a kickboxing match. Again, that's about 10 years ago. And then
Yeah.
he come over to boxing with this big splash, big mouth. Seeing that there's an opening there, though, for a big trash talking American, the stereotype, he's a drug cheat, scumbag,
What do you
fat
think to
cunt.
that little faggot who hosted the press conference, that Dev's pickles, cheese and onion pickle sandwich? What do you think to him, little
I've told
fag?
you before, he's like a slimy, weaselly dosser who you wouldn't trust, around your woman's dirty underwear. You wouldn't trust him. He would be one of them. No, you can't use the toilet. Like, you can't use it because you wouldn't trust him. He'd go off into your woman's bedroom or, he's a
Yeah.
weird, slimy guy. You go outside, Dev. I don't care if it's raining. There's a newspaper. Wipe your ass with that, you shitbag. Don't like him, mate. Don't like
You
him.
know
He's
him, mate?
cheap.
Do you know it? Do you know arse lickers like that, right? There's too many arse lickers like him in this spot. He's like a younger version of Super Bean, isn't he,
I
really?
agree. Yeah, yeah. But he's whereas Bean's like old nonce vibes, he's like just like weird, like pervy vibes. I hope we can get away with seeing this kind of thing on YouTube. But yeah, that's what he strikes me as. I don't like him. I can't stand him. I can't imagine Frank Warren giving him the time of day. Can I imagine Bricktop turning around and saying, "Oh, fuck off, you shitbag. Work's done now. Go on, fuck off. I'll see you in a couple of weeks." Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Just don't like him, mate. Don't like him at all. Really don't like him at all, mate. But
yeah,
that just goes to show, like, the whole product of what we're watching, what we're paying for, what we're being served up. It's shit. It's not interesting. You know, Kevin De Bruyne played his last Manchester derby the other day. He's 33 years of age. So De Bruyne's rolled off at the top level. Why in boxing do people get to still be present and around when they're like 36, 37, 38 and going a
shot
little
to
bit off?
shit,
It's
shot to
wank.
shit like Dylan Shite.
Yeah, it's just like, fuck off. Like, what in football, right? Okay, they're too old. Bernardo Silva was asked the question. He's 30. Him and Kovacic, 30 years of age. They're leaving in the summer by the looks of things because they're too old. Why in boxing is it not like that? Like, why can't we just say, right, you're
Steven
too old?
Gerrard got put out to pasture by Klopp, didn't he?
Yeah. Like, and in boxing, it's like, you know, how old's Bob Arum? He's got to be 95. I know he ain't front and
94.
centre. Yeah, I know he ain't front and centre anymore. It's Todd the Buff or whatever it is.
Todd the
Um,
Buff.
yeah, but like, I just don't get why it's not the same sort of concept. I know it's a little bit harder to administer, but like, it's like boring. It gets fucking rubbish, you know.
Yeah.
It's no different from turning on Emmerdale and seeing Eric Pollard on TV screen still. Fuck me, is
Oh, and
that cunt still on?
Eric Pollard with white hair and blue blazer.
Yeah, like, you know, it's just the same. Like, that cunt's still on this. Fuck me. That's
Yeah.
boring. Who's new? You know, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just, yeah, UFC seem to get away with it. I don't know. It's probably because they can put on the best fights with the best lads, and if you get beat, you don't lose fans with them guys. You know, if you, as long as you're a good performer and you're doing the right things and you're taking the fights you have to, you don't lose any standing or, you know, fan base or popularity. Long and short of it, I just don't know how you can improve boxing. I don't. And people like go back to that nugget. I don't know how helmets like Dev Sani or whatever his name is can be helpful to the sport of boxing. A weasel of a man. Fuck him.
No, all he is a yes. If Bricktop says to him, "Listen, we've signed Derek Chisora. He's got the game plan to beat Usyk in a rematch. So get your son out there and start putting that out." He'd do it. The people like that. I've seen people around Dennis many times, and I've seen him tell people what to say, and I'm like, why are you telling him to say that? That's a load of shit. Do you know what I mean? That Liam Cameron would be able to hold his own in a fight with Golovkin because he's never been stopped. You know, stuff like that. Because Liam had an IBF ranking at one point when I was with Dennis, and Dennis says, "We're going for Golovkin, we'll get paid." I went, "Oh, well,
Also get Liam Cameron's face smashed to
smashed the
smithereens.
smithereens at £160. But Dennis were like, "Yeah, but
Yeah.
Liam's never been stopped, so that's for the narrative we're going to go with." So, yeah, but also you're going up against the guy that equaled Hopkins' record, but they were basically all knockouts, weren't they? You know what I
And
mean?
proper knockouts. Proper fucking jobs.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I can't believe that actually goes. I understand why it would go on, but so, like, what would you do then? Like, let's say I'm asking you a question here, mate. I bow
Yeah.
to your knowledge. So you've got Liam Cameron now, yeah. You're in that situation.
Yeah.
He's got an IBF ranking. What direction would you have taken personally with Liam
What
Cameron?
when you were a middleweight,
Yeah.
I would have gone for a British uh, fight, a domestic fight, and consolidated like Froch did. I would have copied what Mick Hennessy did with Froch. He
Mm.
got Froch a British super middleweight title. They won it against I forgot the kid now, Damon Haig, and then defended it, and Froch won it outright. But he fought like your Brian McGee's, Robin Reed's, Matthew Barney's, and I would have uh, consolidated at super middleweight and prepared myself for a world championship run instead of just getting an IBF ranking. I think Dennis lobbied and got him a ranking. He got Tommy Frank, Josh Whale, Liam Cameron, and somebody else a rank, and Yui Fury a ranking at the same dinner table. I was sat there. This is it went at the in Leeds, Selby against Warrington.
Mm.
And the guy who were there, he's not at IBF now, so I can say this. It was Lindsay Tucker. There were me, Dennis, and Denzel Brown. And when it come down to nitty gritty, Dennis goes, "Oh, I just need to have a word with you, Lindsay. You wanna wait at bar with Denzel or wait outside?" He goes, "I'm not going bar. I've ordered a sticky toffee pudding." He goes, and he give me a fucking kick under the table and give me one of them Dennis grimaces. So I went, "Oh, fucking get ready." I went straight outside. "See you, Denzel." I jumped straight in Dennis's brand spanking new Q7 and I fucking motored. I was that pissed off. I went wrong way, ended up in fucking York. And
What did he say to you?
yeah, I did. Yeah, this is a true story. This, and this is why we had a tear up. And I went from York. I thought, where the fuck am I here? I ended up on A64 because Leeds on a night time. Sometimes if you get stuck in that ring road, you can't get out. And I kept going
Mm.
around in circles. I remember pulling up on York Road and ringing him. He goes, "Where are you eating? You fucked up in my car." I goes, "No, I am. I fucking got lost. I couldn't get back in." And he was screaming out for him. And I goes, "Who are you screaming at you?" I goes, "Fuck you." Anyway, I shut off. And I managed to get back to Derbyshire, stuck it on his drive, and jumped in my Merc. And as I was burning off round the corner, he come flying round in a black cab. Oh, pissing me pants. Anyway, we never spoke for 4 months, and now we're working with Peter, then one of Fury.
Mm.
So we're in Bulgaria, in this hotel lobby. Me, Frank Smith, Robin Reed, Johnny Roy. Dennis walked in, fucking jabbed me straight in ribs, didn't he? I turned around, I thought, "Oh, what was that?" I went, "Now then, Dennis." He went, "Oh, hey up." We got talking, and if you look on my channel, you'll see I did a three-parter. Big Ron summit meeting in Bulgaria. It's on my channel, Porky's Corner. It's a very good video. And after that, there were me, him, and Rami in this restaurant. And after that three-parter, we ended up fucking having a tear up, didn't we, in lobby? Because we got pissed. You know what I mean? Because he's like quite temperamental, Dennis. He can fight like fuck. I'm
Yeah.
quite temperamental. When we got, and I fucking nearly choked him out, didn't I? I had my knee on his neck, right? I had my knee on his neck in this hotel lobby in front of half at Coogan Cassius were there, and like we're fucking in a right with a right tear up. And he fucking bit my arm. He bit my
Yeah.
arm, Dennis. I've got a lot of respect for Dennis, but there's times where he can fucking really piss me off though. If you talk boxing with Dennis, he turns into a little monster because he thinks he knows it all, doesn't he?
Mm.
And I know I fucking do know it all. Because he has to ask me half the time what's going on because he don't know what's going on. I'm not saying he can't fight or he don't know how to put money up because he's always put money up and stuff like that. So we have to give him respect, don't we, Ryan?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he's put his money where his mouth is. But I just think that Dennis is a dinosaur and he's lost touch. But yeah, we had a tear up. But that's fucking life, isn't it? But. But as regards we were on about rankings there, what would I do with Liam Cameron? I would have put him in with people like, your Darren Barkers and Matthew Macklins and, people like that.
Yeah.
Domestic level and learn your craft like Froch did. And then you're ready, aren't you, to be let loose, aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just like get Liam a ranking and then fucking feed him to Golovkin because he's going to smash to pieces.
Yeah.
He
He
would have
won't
got
be
smashed
fighting
up.
now. He won't be fighting now.
He'd have got smashed up for about 400 grand and he'd have probably seen about 70 of it. The rest
Yeah.
of it would have gone under the table, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Yeah, he
Do you know
won't
what
be
I mean?
fighting now if he'd have got in the ring with Golovkin, mate. Put it that way.
No, he
Jesus
won't.
Christ.
And maybe that 4.5 year out at ring's done Liam good.
I
A
hope
bit.
so, mate.
Well, I'm hoping he's going to knuckle down because his missus, who has got kids, has just got a 7 stretch for dealing gear. So,
Joking.
no, 6 year, 11 months. She's just got Tanya.
Okay, man.
So I hope that she's all right in there, wherever she
Yeah.
is. And I hope that Liam's standing by her and sending the fucking dough in and making sure that everything's all right.
He's got that on his head whilst he's preparing for
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Jesus.
Liam's he shrugs stuff off, doesn't he, Liam? He'll shrug it off. He's actually a nice kid, actually. Liam. He's all
You know
right.
what? He comes across really good, and
He's
I
all
hope
right,
the
Liam.
fucking
There's no airs and
blitz is
graces about
working.
Liam.
Yeah,
He's all
he
right.
needs to do Whitaker. He's got to beat Whitaker. He has to.
But I'm
Yeah,
pissed off with Liam because he shit on my mate Chris Smedley, and Chris had him from age of 9,
mm.
and had him all the way through his ban and all that, and then he shit on him, and that's what happens. So Liam can't. Liam, don't be coming out with any of your bollocks on social media about my training team and my family. Listen, you had Chris Smedley from age of 9, kid, for 20 odd year. So show a bit of respect, mate. Put a bit of respect on the man's fucking name, you prick. But other than that, I do like Liam, but I'm a bit pissed off about that because I'm quite close to Chris.
Yeah,
You
no,
know what I
that's
mean? But
right.
that's how boxing goes, isn't it? Okay, where's Big John Fury, Ryan? Where is he?
I've not seen him, mate. Not seen him about. Not seen him about. I think he's still ducking the hardest white man on the planet, Joe
Joe
Egan.
Egan.
Yeah, I've just, you know what, mate? I'm watching a thing on BBC. You know where your friend, his kids, I believe, Godfather is Daniel Kinahan. What's his name?
Big Malk.
Spencer X.
Spencer, Malcolm X. Spencer
Malcolm
Fearon saying that
X.
Kinahan's godfather to his kids, yeah.
I was just watching a thing actually. It's on iPlayer about the Kinahan cartel. And
Did they
Joe Egan.
mention Big Malk?
Surprisingly, mate, they didn't. You know,
They
I've
didn't
been
mention
watching.
Big Malk after everything he did for the
Honestly, mate,
MCK orphanage in Africa.
I've been watching. I was watching. You know, I'm on the third episode, and I haven't seen the great Spencer Fearon mentioned or anything. Nothing. I'm so surprised. You know, he
Big
was
Malk not getting
that
a
high
fucking
up in the
mention.
food chain.
What can you do, eh? What can you do?
Oh,
Uh, how much does Daddy Fudd weigh, would you say? You know, Elmer's dad.
um, he's got to be touching like 27, 28 stone him.
Yeah, he's as big as I was, isn't he? Yeah, it's about as big as you can get. Well, looking at his feet other day, he were in gym, he were on pads,
What are you
and I were
doing
looking
looking
at
at
him
his
in
feet?
these sliders, these flip-flops. His feet look like buffaloes. He's got really chunky fucking feet and ankles on his
Big
toes and that.
crusty feet.
He look like a side of gammon, his feet. Fat cunt him.
Yeah, he's hanging in it. He's
Yeah, yeah.
hanging.
What
I
about
like.
Mickey Theo and Joe Egan? Is it going to happen? Because Mickey put a post out 6 weeks ago saying it's signed, sealed, and delivered. Well, I haven't seen any dates. What's going on there?
I don't know, but if you were, I watched Mickey Theo on the pads once, and you'd be a bit alarmed if you were going to fight him, mate. You know, he
Yeah,
was
yeah, it looks all right on pads, all
very
physical.
explosive, and you can tell he's boxed quite a lot. He's had a lot of fights.
Yeah.
Fuck me, mate. What the fuck are we? Why is that even a thing? Why is someone like Mickey Theo even allowed to speak about
Uh,
boxing? I remember watching him on your channel. He doesn't have a jar of glue about boxing,
no, you
and
don't
he
know.
he was in the ring with some fat dosser who turns up on these like football hooligan. Jason Marino, that was his name. You know, just fucking Egypt. Like, why is Mickey Theo allowed to even? You know what? For John Fury's faults, right? He's raised his lads, and one of them's become an heavyweight world champion. Brilliant. You know, you've done your job. I would have loved it if he actually turned up on Mickey Theo and absolutely pagged him all over the show. Like,
Yeah, but you know when you've been shouting your mouth off like John has about being this roadman killer.
you've just got to turn up. You've
You've
got
got
to
to turn
turn up.
up because if you lose your title, don't you? But when you've gone on about beating the 1992 Irish champion for 100 grand, and people are saying, "Well, who was that, John?" He's like, "But like for me, I can't remember the man's name."
Did you know that Lennox Lewis ducked John Fury?
According to John, yeah, but not according to Ernie Fossey, who were the matchmaker at the time. and Frank Maloney's team who were matching Lennox, and John Fury weren't even in the equation. So I don't know where John got it from that Lennox Lewis were ducking it. But if John
It's a
can say
belter, that.
that, you get these Fury diehards that buy into it. It's like somebody said to
Yeah.
me the other day, Peter Fury was a great boxer, wasn't he? I said, what? Norton won. Well, I'm not having
Who
a go
said
at
that?
Peter, but Peter Fury, a pal of mine called Carl from Tickle in Doncaster said to me, "Oh, Peter Fury, a great boxer, is he?" I said, well, what? How? He's had one fight and he quit after one round against Dave Jules from Doncaster, whose niece I used to go out with. So how is that a great boxer? But people buy into this like what does that man call it? This Fury gaslighting. They buy into it, don't they? Like somebody
Mm.
said to me, Tommy Fury punches like a mule. So well, who's he beat?
What's he fuck?
Tommy Fury's 10-0. We were telling some bird in Chinatown in Manchester the other week. This bird that my mate knows, and to go, oh, Tommy Fury could have been a runner bean. Now he's a should have been. What? He could have been what? He's not won a fucking area belt.
He's wank. Like,
He's wank. He's
fair
not
play,
even won a Masters belt, which is
you
lower
know,
than the area.
I like what he did with that Jake Paul, putting manners on him, but
Yeah, I liked
he
it when
got
Tommy
dropped.
beat Jake Paul, but he
He
got
got
dropped
dropped.
in process, didn't he?
Yeah.
So it's all a load of shit. It's a load of people trying to make out that they're better than what they are. It's a load of
Mm.
shit. If you put it all together, if you put all them Furies together, who have they beat between them all? Vladimir Wilder, Steve Cunningham, who else? Sam Sexton,
I'm just trying to think.
Marius Bach. Is that it between a lot of them?
Christian Hammer,
Christian Hammer. Is that
Fat Pudding.
that's it though, isn't it? Between the lot of them.
Yeah, it's
And
not up.
Jake Paul.
Mm,
There you go. There you go.
yeah,
But they've had millions hard at job because everybody bought into it because the chameleons they know how to work social media, don't they? Everybody fucking bought into it. Everybody.
clever.
But everybody's pants down, mate. But not my fuckers.
No, clever, mate. Very clever.
Oh,
Again, though, it goes into like what we're saying though about a watered down product. You know,
watered down product. It's fucking what? It's fucking. People are taking a piss on boxing from penthouses.
mm,
Well, look at you, like you keep throwing money at us.
it's shit, mate. It is. It's not good. It's what would you do? Like, let's say now, what would you do um, if Yui Fury rings you tomorrow and
Yeah.
says, "Look, Porky, I'm 30. I don't want to fucking leave this sport. I'm coming to you because I know you know the sport. You've worked in it for a long time.
Mm.
Give me some guidance. What would you do with him? Who would you send him to?
I'd say
If
go to Adam Boom. He's the best. The
is that
Dark
what you're saying?
Lord. I'd tell him to go to Joe Gallagher because he's Manchester based.
Mm,
You is a Manchester kid, and you've got to look at it like this. If his dad's had him 12 year, and this is where he's at now, fighting Dan Garber, and he's 31 in September, something's not working, right? If you're
yeah,
fighting journeyman, pushing 31-year-old, you need a change. Right? If you don't have a change and his dad's doing it for his dad's ego, there's something wrong, isn't there? But nobody's going to pull him about it because they're frightened to death to lose access because to get views with Peter Fury. So I'm putting it on Peter today on here. Peter, weigh him in to Joe Gallagher and save his neck. Let's see you. We get a few titles. Let's see a change of direction because he's bogged down with dad. It's either political or the dad doesn't know what he's doing. But nobody's going to say a fucking word, are they? Only me.
do you really think that politics will come into play where that's
Yeah, I
concerned?
do. Yeah, I believe that Frank Warren and Tyson Fury and all that. There's that much bad blood behind the scenes. They're saying, right, Yui don't get a a slot. That's what's going on behind the scenes. So that's what they're all up against. Mick Hennessy and Peter. Mick Hennessy's been able to match Carl Froch with the creme de la creme, but he can't get Yui anywhere, can he?
No.
Because it's political. So let's see a new trainer and a new team around him, or go and get him a fucking job tarmacking. So there you go. That's what
Mm,
it is. And there's no airs or graces of me. We just got to tell it straight. Yui's ain't got a day's work in him anyway.
mm.
So it is what
It's
it
just
is.
weird, isn't it? When you have a look at, like, let's say, Otto Walling, who was headlining at the co-op against Chisora the other month. Like,
Yeah, because they're not
he's ranked.
political. They're just nodding dogs, aren't they? They're
Yeah,
nodding
it's just a
dogs.
shit show that it's
Yeah,
like
they're
that, though.
nodding dogs. They're just going to do as they're told. So, but if you piss people off in boxing, that's what happens. You get froze out. They've been froze out, and they're on GMB shows. That's it. GMB against Dan Gerber, fucking world gold championship gold medalist, Yui Fury. You couldn't make it up, Ryan, could you?
No, you couldn't, mate. It's yeah, I don't know what the direction would be for him, mate, but he needs to sort something out, doesn't he? Something needs to happen. If he wants to give it a go anyway, he needs to just assess things properly. When I seen it that he was fighting Dan, I watched the interviews where he was saying about I'm gonna make a statement and then I'm gonna call out I want Joshua and all the rest of it. And I seen like the look on his face and I thought, all right, fair enough. And then when I seen he was fighting the same geezer that got put on his ass by a Talma in 90 seconds. I thought, what's the point? You don't need jog outs. You don't need a run out, mate. What kind of footballer now at 30 years of age, yeah, would get loaned out to a championship club? But he's playing for City, let's say, the best of the best. He's playing for City and he's 30 years of age and Pep turns around to him at 30 years of age, Bernardo Silva, let's say, I'm going to send you to Middlesbrough for 6 months. Just, get yourself fit again. It wouldn't happen. He'd just say, look, Bernardo, you're too old, mate. It's not happening. We need to call it quits.
I agree.
It'd be that simple, but in boxing, it's just like, I don't know, mate. Fuck knows. Very strange sport.
Okay, well, listen, Ryan,
Go
be
on,
great
mate.
having you on, but I've got Andy, who is not from fucking Aberdeen, on at 10 and it's 9:58. So I'm going to crack on. But listen,
Go on,
be
mate.
great having you on. We've had a good natter. We've told it straight. We only
Mm-hmm.
want the best for boxing and the best for people in it, that's all. But we have to tell it straight. If people want to come out and bullshit and the ice breaks, us boys will be waiting, won't they?
We,
Me and you and the rest of the commission.
we certainly are, my friend. Listen, you take care of yourself, mate. I'll
All
speak
right,
to you soon.
Ryan. I'll speak to you
See you
tomorrow.
later, pal. Bye bye,
Right.
mate.
That was Ryan from Lancashire. Women love him, men want to be him. A nice kid. We tell it straight. If anybody's offended by what I've said on here, I don't give a jog. Jog on. We just tell it straight. That's it. Boxing is full of liars, charlatans, and con men. It's they're a disease. Porky's Corner is the cure. Go on, peace out.